President Trump is urging Attorney General Pam Bondi to pursue cases against several of his political opponents, pretty obvious, including New York Attorney General Letitia James, former FBI Director James Comey, and Representative Adam Schiff. He amplified the message on social media over the weekend, saying his foes are guilty as hell and pressing for swift action. White House and Justice Department have not detailed any specific charges against any of these people, but we think they'll listen. Recent moves at the Justice Department signal a harder line, with Trump installing loyalists in key prosecutor roles and have repeatedly pushed Bondi to be more aggressive in her prosecutions. Early reporting documented structural changes that weakened traditional watchdog inside the DOJ and elevated a weaponization review for past probes involving Trump. Supporters say pushing this alleged misconduct by powerful officials restores trust. They argue that prior investigations into Trump set a precedent and that equal standards require looking hard at those who led those. Some Republicans frame this as correcting the double standard and delivering long delayed justice, although many critics are basically saying that Trump did a lot of really bad, dumb, ugly things, and so that's why he got investigated. A lot. And of course, found to be responsible for many of those things that didn't go away after he won the presidency for 47. Even some Republicans are wrapped up with Democrats saying that this is a direction for prosecutors aimed at political opponents and crossing a pretty long, big, defined, right there in front of us red line. They said it blurs the boundaries between law enforcement and politics and has chilling effects for dissent and could collapse in court if basically the intent shows that it's retaliatory. Basically, he shows he's just being mean and angry, so the court should just say no. They should say no. Legal analysts note that public pressure from the president can taint prosecutions and undermine the rule of law, which is always an issue as well. Now, Bondi faces pressure to show movement while avoiding cases that look like they're pretextual and just ready to serve up to be taken down. Any indictments would trigger a fierce legal battle and congressional scrutiny, and abstention would be clear in cases where evidence-based charges don't really stack up. Courts could view these efforts as politically driven and, of course, push away from the DOJ and the White House. They could. We'll see what happens. If credible evidence actually exists, charging wrongdoing, which whoever the target is, can reinforce that no one is above the law and may deter future abuses. The problem? President Trump believes he's above the law and is trying to avoid any further abuses. So by retaliating against folks who actually looked into his stuff instead of a check and balance measure, but just because they don't like him, is an issue. This is political rivals being pursued, and it's something that he's been known to do in many cases and is what's gotten him in semi-trouble, although not so much convicted many times in the past. Weaponizing the Justice Department for your own means is setting a bad precedent by himself, which we hope can be reversed or people with, better mindsets will not do. We just have to hope for the best.